Listen to me. Entrepreneurship is not a buzzword. It's not a trend. It's a lifestyle. You're broke. Own it. You're tired. Own it. Your life's not when you want it to be. Because the moment you stop blaming the world and start looking in the mirror, and that's the moment everything starts to change. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's handing you success on a silver platter. But the good news, you don't need a handout. You've got power in you. Power to decide, act, power to rise. So today, I challenge you. Take ownership of your choices, your discipline, your grind. Stop renting your potential and start owning your greatness. This is the moment. This is your time. Let's talk about it. Ownership is the foundation of every breakthrough in life. It's not something you stumble upon. It's not something that just happens one day when things go right. Ownership is a conscious decision. It's a choice to stop blaming, stop making excuses, and stop pointing fingers, and start taking full responsibility for everything in your life. That's right. Everything. Not just the things you're proud of, not just the wins and the highlights, but also the failures, the missed opportunities, the moments where you let yourself down. Because here's the true thing, if you don't own it, you can't fix it. You can't improve something that you don't claim. You can't change what you deny. And far too many people spend their lives in denial. They tell themselves stories about why things didn't work out. My boss didn't like me. I didn't have the right connections. I didn't get the support I needed. Life's not fair. Listen. Life might not be fair, but that doesn't mean you don't have power. That doesn't mean you get to sit back and fold your arms and wait for someone to come along and fix it for you. Nobody's coming. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll start to rise. See, ownership is not just about accountability. It's about power. When you own your mistakes, you also own your ability to correct them. When you own your weakness, you unlock the ability to build strength. When you own your story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, you finally gain the authority to rewrite it. But as long as you keep shifting blame, as long as you keep outsourcing your problems, your growth stays on pause. Your potential stays dormant. You can't activate what you haven't accepted. You can't lead a life you refuse to take responsibility for. And let's be real. Sometimes it's hard to take ownership. It's hard to admit you messed up. It's hard to admit you slacked off. It's hard to accept that the reason you're not where you want to be is because of your own decisions or lack of them. But you know what's harder? Living a life you regret. Looking back and realizing you could have done more, could have tried harder, could have shown up when it counted. Regret weighs more than discipline. And ownership, that's where discipline is born. When you own your life, you no longer make decisions based on comfort. You make decisions based on commitment. You don't hit snooze because you're tired. You get up because you've committed to greatness. You don't skip the gym or procrastinate your goals because you don't feel like it. You do what needs to be done because you're not renting your success. You own it. You don't let emotions dictate your work ethic. You lead with principles. You lead with purpose. Some people wait for motivation to take action. That's not ownership. That's dependency. That's wishful thinking. That's hoping you'll feel good enough to move. But real ones don't wait for feelings. They move regardless. Because when you've taken ownership of your future, your dreams, your legacy, there's no waiting for permission. There's no hoping someone will push you. You push yourself. You ignite your own fire. You hold yourself to the highest standard. Because you know that greatness doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. It happens by daily choices. It happens when you stop hoping and start taking control. And you know what happens when you step into that space? Everything changes. Your mindset sharpens. Your focus intensifies. Your work ethic elevates. You stop wasting time on things that don't serve your mission. You stop hanging with people who make excuses, and you start surrounding yourself with people who make progress. Because ownership attracts ownership. Excellence attracts excellence. And when you operate from that level of self-leadership, people notice. Opportunities find you. Not because you're lucky, because you're ready. You're consistent. You're committed. Think about how many people never step in their full potential because they're afraid to admit they're the problem. But here's the wild part. When you realize you're the problem, you also realize you're the solution. That's power. That's freedom. When you own your time, your energy, your finances, your health, your relationships, when you stop playing the victim and start playing the leader, then you can finally start building something that lasts, something that matters. You start waking up with purpose, going to bed with peace, and living each day with intention. And no, it's not easy. Ownership is not glamorous. It's not always fun. It means facing hard truths. It means choosing discipline over distraction. It means doing what's right, even when it's inconvenient. But that's what separates winners from watchers. That's what builds character. That's what creates legacy. Everyone wants the outcome, but not everyone wants the accountability. Everyone wants to shine, but not everyone wants to show up when it's dark. You want to be great. Own your grind. Own your habits. Own your journey. Because you will never outgrow the standards you refuse to enforce. You will never rise above the excuses you keep making. You will never level up until you take full ownership of who you are and who you want to become. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about waking up and saying, I may not be there yet, but I'm not blaming anybody else. I'm in charge now. I'm making moves now. I'm owning everything. You can have dreams all day. You can write goals on paper, hang them on your wall, talk about them on social media. But until you start living like you own them, they mean nothing. A goal without ownership is just a wish. A vision without ownership is just a fantasy. But when you put ownership behind your vision, now you've got momentum. Now you've got structure. Now you've got discipline driving your desire. You've got execution backing up your ambition. And let me be clear, you don't need perfect conditions to take ownership. You don't need all the answers. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to decide. Decide that from this point forward, you're done blaming. You're done coasting. You're done waiting. You're taking ownership of your time, your focus, your development, your outcome. You're building habits, not hype. You're showing up when it's hard. You're saying yes to discomfort because you know growth lives there. You're embracing the challenge because you know champions are born in resistance. You want to build a business. Take ownership. Study, plan, execute. You want to transform your body. Take ownership. Train, eat right, be consistent. You want to become more focused, more confident, more capable. Then you got to own your inputs, your thoughts, your words, your choices. You've got to control your controllables. No more talking about what they did, what they said, how unfair it is. Life doesn't reward blame. Life rewards ownership. You weren't born to coast. You weren't built to play small. You've got something in you that's waiting to be unleashed. But it won't come out while you're hiding behind excuses. It won't come out while you're blaming your past. It won't come out while you're waiting for someone else to give you permission. You got to give yourself permission. Oh, you've got to unlock that potential by stepping fully into the responsibility that comes with it. The responsibility to show up, to outlast, to rise. The moment you take ownership in your life is the moment you take back control. And when you're in control, you don't just survive, you thrive. You don't just talk, you execute. You don't just wish, you work. And that work, that fire, that relentless drive, it's what sets you apart. It's what gets you up in the morning with a mission. It's what makes you dangerous in the best way possible. Because the world can't stop someone who's decided to own everything. Not just their victories, but their losses. Not just the glory, but the grind. The harsh reality is this: you are where you are today because of decisions you've made. Not your parents, not your boss, not your friends, not your circumstances. You. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's also the most empowering one. Because once you accept that truth, you're no longer at the mercy of life. You become the author, the driver, the architect. Accountability is not punishment, it's power. And that power starts the moment you look in the mirror and say, it's on me. You have to stop outsourcing your responsibility. Stop waiting for someone to apologize before you move forward. Stop blaming your childhood, your environment, or your past. Yes, they shaped you, but they don't define you. You are not your trauma. You are not your setbacks. You are not your failures unless you choose to keep carrying them like a badge. The moment you decide to stop reliving old pain and start rebuilding your path, that's the moment you step into accountability. When you understand that accountability starts with you, your language changes. You stop saying, they did this to me, and start saying, here's how I responded, and here's what I'm doing about it. You stop saying, I can't, and you start asking, how can I? You stop being reactive and start becoming proactive. Accountability is the mental shift that separates the average from the exceptional. It's the internal contract that says, I don't control everything, but I will control everything that's mine to control. And I won't make excuses for the rest. Let's be real. Most people don't want accountability. They want convenience. They want the rewards without the requirements. They want change without challenge. But accountability demands more. It demands honesty, consistency, and effort. It demands that you face your own reflection and admit when you're falling short. It's easy to tell yourself you're doing enough. It's easy to believe your own excuses. But accountability doesn't care about easy. It cares about truth. And the truth is often uncomfortable. It tells you've been lazy when you called it rest. It tells you've been scared at being realistic. It tells you you've been procrastinating when you said you weren't. Planning. A people wouldn't run. A people run from accountability because it shines the light their weaknesses. But here's the secret. When you face that weakness, you can fix it. You can turn it into strength. You can build muscle where there was once excuse. You can create discipline where there was once delay. But none of that happens if you refuse to own your part. You can't change what you're not willing to admit. And until you stop pretending the world is holding you back, you'll never tap into your full potential. Every time you point the finger at someone else, you give away your power. Think about that. Every time you say, my boss won't promote me, or I can't win because the system is rigged, you're handing over your future to someone else. You're saying, they have control. I don't. But when you say, I'm not where I want to be yet because I haven't mastered the game, now you've got something to work with. Now you can study, you can train, you can adapt, you can move. That's ownership. That's the mindset of a warrior, not a victim. And listen, accountability isn't about beating yourself up. It's not about guilt. It's about growth. You're not taking blame. You're taking responsibility. There's a difference. Blame is passive. It looks backward. Responsibility is active. It looks forward. When you take responsibility, you're not saying it was your fault. You're saying it's your move. You're saying, I didn't cause this mess, but I'm going to clean it up. That's maturity. That's leadership. That's how winners operate. You can't hold other people accountable until you first hold yourself accountable. You want to lead others. Lead yourself first. You want to demand more from your team. Start demanding more from you. Don't expect your family to be more disciplined than you are. Don't expect your friends to be more loyal, more focused, or more committed than you. The standard always starts with you. If your circle lacks energy, maybe you're not bringing enough. If your relationships feel shallow, maybe you haven't been showing up fully. If your goals feel stuck, maybe you've stopped pushing. Accountability is about alignment. Are your actions aligned with your values? Are your words aligned with your behavior? Are your priorities aligned with your time? Too many people say they want success, but their habits don't reflect that. They say they want to be fit, but they don't train. They say they want to be wealthy, but they don't budget. They say they want peace, but they keep entertaining chaos. Accountability checks all of that. It forces you to ask me, does my life reflect what I say I want? And if the answer is no, it's not a reason to feel shame. It's a reason to change. You have to become your own watchdog, your own motivator, your own enforcer. No one's coming to make sure you stick to your goals. No one's followed up on your dreams. That's your job. Accountability means doing the work when no one's watching, showing up when there's no applause, executing even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when progress is slow. It means holding the line, because that line is your standard. And if you keep moving it, you'll never reach your true potential. People will always try to shift accountability onto others. That's human nature. It's easier to say, they didn't support me, than to admit, I didn't show up. It's easier to say, the market is tough, than to admit, I didn't prepare. But the people who win, who really win, and they don't take that route, they take the hits, learn the lesson, and keep moving. They say, I didn't get the result, but I own the effort. I own the attitude. I own the outcome. That mindset is unshakable. That's the mindset that builds empires. And let's talk about fear, because accountability is often avoided out of fear. Fear of failing, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. But when you take accountability, you face that fear head on. You say, I may fail, but at least I'm in the game. At least I'm swinging. At least I'm not on the sidelines blaming the world. And guess what? That courage compounds. Every time you take responsibility, instead of making an excuse, you grow. You get stronger, more confident, more resilient. Accountability forces you to be intentional. You don't drift through life hoping things get better. You plan, you execute, you review, you adjust. You become a student of your own behavior. Why did I skip that workout? Why did I lose focus today? Why did I give up when it got tough? You ask hard questions, not to criticize yourself, but to coach yourself to evolve. Because the truth is, no one knows your weaknesses better than you do, and no one can fix them better than you can. When you fully embrace accountability, your relationships improve too. You communicate better because you're not defensive. You admit your part in conflicts. You stop expecting perfection from others and start modeling it yourself. You become trustworthy, not because you're flawless, but because you own your flaws. People respect that. People follow that. That kind of integrity is rare and it stands out. The world is full of talent, but is starving for accountability. Everyone wants to be seen, but few want to be examined. Everyone wants success, but few want the spotlight of personal responsibility. You have to be different. You have to be bold enough at yourself day after day and say, where can I grow? Where did I mess up? Where do I need to level up? That's how you get better. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you go from good to great. At the end of the day, you are your most important project. Not your job, not your image. You, your habits, your discipline. If you don't take accountability for your own development, no one will do it for you. And no amount of talent or luck will save you if you're not willing to take responsibility for your own life. So decide right now you're done blaming. You're done waiting. You're done pointing fingers. From this point forward, you own your energy. You own your effort. You own your execution. You fall. You get up. You fail. You fail. You learn. You get tired. You rest. But then you get back to it. Because no one is going to care about your goals more than you. No one is going to carry your purpose for you. This is your life, Shin. Your legacy. And it all starts with one decision. I'm holding myself accountable. Every day, in every way, no matter what. It's time to face the truth. Nobody's coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your mentor, not your boss, not your favorite influencer or motivational speaker, not even your partner. This is your life. And it is your responsibility to fix what's broken, to build what's missing, to chase what you want, and to fight for what matters. The longer you wait for someone else to make it better, the longer you will stay stuck right where you are. That's not negativity. That's reality. It might sting at first, but once you accept it, it becomes the most freeing realization of your life. See, most people are waiting for a moment that will never come. They're waiting for someone to notice them, to rescue them, to believe in them. They sit around hoping someone will give them a break, offer them a chance, or hand them an opportunity. But this kind of waiting is dangerous. It's deceptive. It feels like patience, but really it's procrastination wrapped in fear. Deep down, we hope someone will just show up and fix the mess for us. But no one's coming. No one is going to do the work you were meant to do. No one's going to have the discipline you used to develop. No one's going to build your future for you. It's on you. That dream, you've been holding your heart for years. It's not going to become real unless you do something about it. That vision of a better life, a stronger you, a more fulfilled existence, it's not going to fall into your lap. You're not going to wake up one day suddenly successful because you wish for it hard enough. That's not how greatness works. Greatness doesn't knock on your door. You have to hunt it down. You have to chase it relentlessly. You have to build it brick by brick when no one else is watching, when no one's clapping for you, when no one's checking in on you. And don't get it twisted. People might love you, but they can't save you. They can support you, sure. They can encourage you. They might offer advice, but they can't do the push-ups for you. They can't stay up late grinding for your goals. They can't wake up early and force you to get better. That's your responsibility. You can't keep blaming your lack of progress on a lack of support. You're not stuck because no one helped you. You're stuck because you haven't helped yourself. That's what ownership is. That's what maturity looks like. It's understanding that your life is your job and nobody else was hired to live it for you. When you were a kid, maybe someone did come when you cried. Maybe someone can't help when you were scared. Maybe someone fixed it when you broke something. But that was childhood. That was dependency. You're grown now. And in the real world, you have to be your own hero. You have to fight your own battles. You have to write your own story. You don't get to hand the pen to someone else and expect them to create your masterpiece. You've got to get in the game. You've got to bleed for it. You've got to sacrifice for it. You've got to rise again and again and again, because you know the only person who's going to carry your dreams to the finish line is you. Think about every successful person you admire. At some point, they had to face a moment where no one believed in them. No one encouraged them. No one opened the door for them. And they had a choice in fold or fight. Most people fold. But the ones who make it, they didn't wait. They didn't beg. They didn't complain. They built. They grew. They found a way. That's what you've got to do. You have to make a decision to become relentless. 2, become resourceful, to become so committed to your dream that even if the whole world goes silent, your purpose still speaks. Stop telling yourself, I would if someone helped me. Start saying, I'm doing it regardless. Stop saying, I can't do this alone. Start saying, I'll figure it out. Because you can. You absolutely can. Everything you need to begin is already inside you. You might not have the money, the tools, the experience, but you've got heart. You've got time. You've got energy. You've got the ability to learn. And that is enough to start. That is enough to build. That is enough to change everything. If you decide to stop waiting, nobody's coming to save you. And that's the best you'll ever hear, because it means you don't have to wait. It means the power has been in your hands the whole time. It means you're not dependent. You're capable. You're not weak. You're waking up. And once you wake up to your own strength, there's nothing you can't handle. There's nothing you can't overcome. There's nothing you can't build, change, or create, because you're no longer waiting. You're working. You're moving. You're rising. This is your life. This is your shot. This is your time. Take it. Own it. And never again forget nobody's coming, because you're already here. Excuses are easy. They roll off the tongue like butter. They sound smooth. They sound reasonable. They sound like logic. I was tired. I didn't have time. They didn't support me. It's not the right season. But here's the hard truth you've got to swallow. If you're serious about winning and lifing, every time you make an excuse, you hand your power away. Every time you explain why you couldn't, you're building a case against your own greatness. And when you live in excuse, you die in regret. Ownership means no excuses, period. Not sometimes, not when it's convenient, not when you feel strong. Ownership means when it's raining, you show up. When it's hard, you push through. When you fail, you don't deflect, you own it. You don't play the blame game. You don't look around for who to point at. You point at yourself. And not out of shame, but out of strength. Because when you take ownership, you take control. You don't wait for conditions to be perfect, because you understand that life will never hand you a perfect setup. You don't need a perfect setup. You just need perfect commitment. You see, excuses feel comfortable. They protect your ego. They let you off the hook, but they also rob you of progress. They keep you in the same place. They wrap chains around your potential. Excuses are the language of stagnation. And most people live there permanently. Most people become masters of justification. They've got a story for everything, why they quit, why they never started, why they're behind, why they didn't follow through. But that story is not truth. It's protection. It's a narrative designed to keep them safe from failure. When the only real failure is refusing to take full responsibility. Look around. Excuses are everywhere. They're normalized. People bond over them. Yeah, I know, I just didn't feel motivated. Same man, I just haven't had the time. But excuses might earn you sympathy. They'll never earn you success. You have to decide what you value more, comfort or growth, ease or excellence. Because they don't live in the same house. You can't be obsessed with greatness and also be loyal to your excuses. You've got to choose. And if you want to be uncommon, if you want to build a life that's bigger than your excuses, you've got to burn them at the root. No more blaming the economy. No more blaming your ex. No more blaming your schedule, your kids, your boss, your parents. No more, I wasn't taught this. Or, I didn't have that. No more, I'm just not wired that way. So what? Rewire yourself. Learn the skill. Develop the discipline. You weren't born with a phone in your hand either. You figured that out. You weren't born driving a car, reading books, writing emails. But you learned because you had to. So now you've got to learn how to take ownership. You've got to teach yourself that there are no saviors coming. And there is no escape hatch. It's just you, your will, and your work. So from this moment forward, make a vow: no more excuses. Not in your health, not in your finances, not in your relationships, not in your dreams. When things don't go right, you don't explain it away. You learn. You pivot, adapt, but you don't quit. You don't fold. You don't wait for someone else to take the blame. You say, this is on me, and that's a good thing. Because if it's on me, I can fix it. I can flip it. I can turn it around. That's what winners do. They take the pressure. They take the pain. They take the problems. And they turn them into power. Because they don't need an excuse. They've got a mission. They've got a vision. And they've got the courage to own all of it. So here it is. No more soft talk. No more blame. No more delay. If you want your life to change, it starts with you. Only you. Not when they believe in you. Not when the timing feels perfect. Not when someone gives you permission. Right now. Right here. This moment. You either own your life or your life will own you. The day you stop making excuses is the day you start making progress. The moment you stop explaining your limitations is the moment you begin expanding your possibilities. You are not a victim. You are not powerless. You are capable of more than you've let yourself believe. And it's time to act like it. It's not about being perfect. It's about being responsible. It's about being honest enough to admit that if you want different, you've got to do different. All want the results, then take the weight, wear it, embrace it, and then move, push, grind, grow. Because no excuse will ever build the life you want. But ownership will, so take it. Own it. Live it. And don't ever look back.